No, I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before. I mean, it's shaped like a big M. It's a big cave that looks just like a gigantic M.
To the average human, the Mojave Desert is a death trap. Its sun is unforgiving, the terrain filled with sharp rocks and plants that look tough and spiky. However, this hasn't stopped the native tribes from making it their home for thousands of years, and professional hikers like Kenny Veach, Sean Horlicker, and others from exploring it.
And something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate.
But even these professional hikers get scared of the desert. It has too many secrets. There are caves that people claim lead to other dimensions, and there are caves that make explorers lose control of their body.
There are many caves. I have been in hundreds of them, but this one particular cave was beyond anything I've ever encountered.
One of these is the M Cave that Kenny Veach discovered. For many years, the secrets and mysteries of that cave have been beyond us. Well, until now. Kenny Veach was born in Las Vegas in 1967 and loved hiking around California and Nevada. He picked up hiking when he was around 27 years old and celebrated his 20th anniversary as a hiker in 2014. He didn't bake a cake or anything, but you know what I mean. For Kenny, hiking provided a way for him to be free and be his own person. It allowed him to call the shots and do something different. For Kenny Veach, hiking helped him take a break from the monotony of life, and Kenny knew a lot about monotony. He worked at the same job as a service technician for a coffee company for 17 years. He quit the job in 2013 after feeling unfulfilled for a while and decided to pursue financial independence by doing the things he loved. He tried art and invented some things. Kenny invented what he called an improved version of the toilet paper holder and even did a pitch of his invention to the Shark Tank show. Unfortunately, the people at Shark Tank didn't think he didn't let the disappointment of not getting on the show discourage him from inventing or trying to sell. He continued to build products in his home at Las Vegas. He invented what he called a glowlar bear, or a glow-in-the-dark polar bear in case you were wondering what I meant. Again, he pitched the idea to the producers of Shark Tank, but unfortunately again, he was rejected. Still, Kenny continued despite the rejection, and wasn't discouraged. As you would come to see, Kenny didn't like to give up. He also made a redneck whistle, and even created a clothing line. Kenny was doing what he loved, and he seemed happy. Unfortunately, his ideas weren't bringing in money, and Kenny needed money. However, there was one thing that allowed him to forget everything else, and that was hiking. Like I mentioned before, Kenny loved hiking around Nevada and California. When he went on his hikes, most times solo, other times with his girlfriend Sherion, Kenny explored caves, mines, and trails that caught his interest. He even opened a YouTube channel, Snakebit McGee, which documented his explorations. During his hikes, Veach collected items like animal bones and other curiosities, which he used to decorate his house. He enjoyed every bit of his hikes, but he especially loved exploring the Mojave Desert. It was one of his favorite places to hike because it tied to another of Kenny's interests: aliens, UFOs, Area 51, and conspiracy theories. They fascinated him, and I understand why. The idea that there's more to this universe, the possibility of extraterrestrial life out and within the planet, it's all exciting. Elon Musk trying to even make humans multiplanetary would have even made it exciting for Veach, but unfortunately, Kenny wouldn't be around to witness the progress humanity had made in space travels. In 2014, when Kenny refused to give up on his claims and went on a hike, he disappeared, never to be seen again. Is he dead? Is he alive? No one knows, and since then, people have been curious, but maybe I have an answer to that mystery and to the reason Kenny disappeared, Cave M disappeared. How? Let me take it from the top. Remember how Kenny was fascinated by conspiracy theories, UFOs, Area 51, and so on? In 2014, he explored around the Nellis Air Force bombing range, which was close to the Area 51 complex. While he was hiking, Kenny came across a cave, which he claimed was formed like a capital M. Curious, Kenny revealed he went close to the cave, but as he neared it, something weird happened to him. Before I continue, don't forget, Kenny is an experienced hiker. He played with rattlesnakes for fun. So, he was fearless and was used to danger, but this cave spooked him and felt like his body was vibrating. He was experiencing symptoms similar to Havana syndrome? What is that? I promise I'll tell you about it later in the video. What Kenny felt scared him, and he didn't have a weapon to defend himself with. So Kenny, as he claimed, didn't explore the cave and left. However, he kept that experience to himself until a YouTube channel he loved following posted something. Kenny loved watching the Serious Disclosure channel on YouTube, which Dr. Stephen Greer ran. For folks who love UFOs and conspiracy theories, you already know who Greer is. For folks that don't know, Dr. Greer is a fierce voice pushing for the Pentagon to release videos, data, and any information that they have on UFOs. He has discussed this on national television channels several times. So, Serious Disclosure did a video on what they described as a top-secret research going on in Area 51. According to Serious Disclosure, the government was experimenting on an alternative energy source, which blew up when they tried to test it. Different people commented on the purpose of that alternative energy source. Others dropped their experiences around that area, and since the cave that Kenny explored was close to Area 51, he also dropped his own comments on the channel. Kenny recounted his experience and how his body vibrated around that cave with the M entrance. He was trying to say that the cave could have been an entrance to one of the many rumored underground Area 51 bases in Canada. However, not many people believed him. Some people began to mock his experience and claimed he was chasing clout. They even said maybe the desert heat and thirst was making him see things, especially Kenny himself had revealed he usually packed light for his trips. This was something he was proud of. He loved the fact that he could survive on minimal resources and rely more on the desert for survival. His ability, which he was proud of, became a point that the people who were mocking him used as ammunition. Kenny didn't like this and felt insulted. He insisted he wasn't seeing things, so he felt like he needed to set the record straight. Kenny then went to get a sidearm, a camera, and supplies that he would need to survive his search for the cave. Kenny was eager and ready to prove his doubters wrong. So, he announced that the search was on, much to the cheers of many. People wanted to know what made Kenny's body vibrate. People wanted to know what the government was up to in Area 51. Kenny began his journey and documented it on video, giving commentary on his findings. He pointed out landmarks in the video, talked about an abandoned mine shaft, and used it as a point of reference for where the cave he claimed to have found was. Kenny covered an impressive amount of ground that day and was excited. He was doing what he loved for what he loved. Okay. Don't let me cause confusion. What I meant to say is that Kenny was hiking for the sake of a conspiracy theory. Kenny only had a general direction of where the cave was. He wasn't following a trail, so finding the cave was always going to be a difficult task. At the abandoned mine shaft that Kenny used as reference, he described the cave as tall as he was and kind of narrow. His description in another part of the video was that the cave was level to the ground, and he didn't want to miss it. So, it does seem like Kenny remembered the spooky feeling he got than where the cave was itself. What could have made Kenny spooked? Was it a secret government experiment? Had Kenny hiked to the place around the time classified programs were taking place? Or was it the gateway to another dimension that would have ripped his body to shreds if he went through it? Or was it aliens that were in the place and wanted Kenny and other human beings to keep off? So many questions, but no answers. This was what Kenny was trying to provide, but could his sidearm protect him from the government, aliens, and the horrors from another dimension? Still, he was confident that he was going to find the cave and was determined to do so. He had been exploring for about half his life, so he knew what he was doing. Or so he thought. Kenny didn't find the cave. His trip didn't go as planned. It was a long search, and maybe he even wasn't vigilant enough and missed it like he feared. Kenny was disappointed and could have just used the opportunity to disappear and not run his channel anymore. However, he wasn't a coward. He went on to YouTube to announce to his followers that, despite his best efforts, he couldn't find the cave, but he wasn't giving up, and announced that he was going to return to his search for the cave for the second time. This time, Kenny got a warning which in retrospect he should have heeded. When he posted his video, a person commented and wrote, "No, do not go back there. If you find that cave entrance, don't go in, you won't get out." Now, after that comment, many people, including Veach, asked the commenter to give more details, but the person didn't. It was an ominous warning, but it wasn't enough to discourage Veach from returning to the cave. So, Veach prepared. He told his loved ones he was going for a short overnight trip. He packed his guns, but this time he left his camera. Why would Veach leave his camera when he has promised to record his groundbreaking discovery of the cave for his YouTube subscribers? Did he have another plan? Or was he afraid he wasn't going to see the cave and wanted to find it first before doing another video detailing his discovery? Armed and ready on November 10, 2014, Veach journeyed to the familiar terrain of the Mojave Desert. Only this time, he didn't return. After a few days without contacting his loved ones, they raised the alarm. Veach had become missing. A search and rescue party was formed, and Veach's loved ones and YouTube subscribers were hopeful that he would be found. The search and rescue party searched, but they couldn't find him. They checked out his YouTube video he posted about his M-Cave hike and identified the mine shaft in the video. There, they made a discovery. Veach's cell phone was in the shaft, like it was placed there. The phone was on, and the battery wasn't dead, but Veach just wasn't there. Why would he place his phone in a place like the shaft? Didn't he want to be found? What exactly was going on? Where is Kenny Veach? The search continued for Kenny. The park rangers even used a chopper to search from the air. They didn't find any clue to where he was. If he was attacked by an animal, there should be traces of an attack, and he would have even fired his gun in self-defense. Yet there was nothing indicating that Veach struggled with anything or anyone. The mystery at this time was burning hot, but unfortunately, after searching for a while, the search was called off, and Veach was assumed dead. However, not many people resolved the mystery of Veach in their minds. So, naturally, different theories emerged. Some theories looked pretty plausible. For instance, one suggested that Veach must have witnessed a criminal activity which went wrong, and the criminals decided to delete him. Another claimed Veach must have been attacked by a mountain lion. According to this theory, mountain lions are capable of killing in a way that wouldn't spill blood. So they could attack a person and drag that person to a cave. This theory even claimed the search party made a mistake in how they approached looking for Veach. How? The people pushing this theory suggested that the search party should have also focused on areas where vultures were circling. They claimed that these vultures could be a great pointer to where Kenny could have been if he were truly attacked by a mountain lion. On the other side of things, There are some theories that would seem outlandish to many. One suggested Kenny had been kidnapped by aliens. This fit the theme of Kenny's disappearance. After all, he was investigating something that people felt was connected to the infamous Area 51. The people behind these theories feel very confident about it, especially with claims from veteran Charles James Hall. Hall claimed he worked in different military bases around Nevada in the 60s and revealed that the United States not only knows about the existence of aliens, but also cooperates with them. Hall described these aliens as the Tall Whites and claimed they had different underground bases. Could this be true? Did Veach accidentally get into one of the alleged aliens' bases? Did the person who made the comment on this channel know anything about it? Another theory blamed the soldiers of Area 51 for harming Kenny. When people get near Area 51, they notice that they were being watched by men in military gear in white pickup trucks. And when people venture just slightly into this restricted territory, this happens. You don't want to mess with the Area 51 men. They are pretty tough and look very off the book. Their uniforms, while in the military, don't have anything to indicate which branch of the military they belong to. There are no insignia for ranks, divisions, or even a place for names. These guys are like ghosts, only that we can see them, and we know that they are usually up to the task of keeping people off the restricted area, except for that one time which I would tell you about soon. Veach was still missing, and after the authorities gave up on looking for him, professional hikers decided that they wouldn't. They began their own private search for Veach and the cave that made him disappear. And a few years after, a YouTuber, Sean Neil Horlicker, found it, or did he? Horlicker completely acted as Veach did when he was searching for Cave M. He parked at the same place and followed Veach's trail closely. And while searching, Horlicker found a cave that looked suspicious. It was certainly shaped like M, but it looked like it had caved in. Could it be the same cave that made Veach's body vibrate? Pay attention to that rock. You'll see that it looked familiar. When Horlicker explored the rock that covered it, he explained how the rocks weren't natural to that cave and looked like someone had moved those rocks there to cover the mouth of the cave. So, do you know where you've seen the rock before? I showed it to you early in the video, or Kenny did. In one of the clips I showed you earlier, Kenny walked past that rock. He even pointed to the rock and said, if he wasn't careful, he would miss it. Check this out. This was from Kenny's video. Notice any similarity? It is the same rock, and it gets weirder. After leaving that rock, Horlicker's body began to vibrate. He immediately began to feel nausea, and not long after, he puked. Why did this happen to Sean? Was it because he stood at the mouth of the cave? Why didn't Veach that same way when he walked past? Was it because he didn't go up close to the cave? Still, even if Kenny didn't have a reaction to that cave, he and Sean showed symptoms of Havana syndrome. This syndrome got its name from when people at the American Embassy in Cuba began to get sick without any reason. The United States accused Cuba of using weapons that emitted either sound or heat waves, which got into the skin and caused violent reactions. When Cuba denied and the United States prepared to officially investigate, the illnesses just stopped. Just like that. So, both Horlicker and Kenny got sick around a cave, but unfortunately Kenny didn't identify that cave as the M cave. Could it be that after he discovered it, the people in Area 51 covered it up, that he couldn't recall where it was again? That's certainly a theory, but another YouTuber found another cave. This YouTuber claimed he got a tip from a friend in the military about the cave and visited. That cave turned out to also be M-shaped. However, the difference was, this YouTuber didn't feel his body vibrating or any wave of nausea. So, if that YouTuber didn't feel nausea, that couldn't be the cave, But he didn't find some curious things in the cave. He found pieces of wood, a bottle, and a hidden sign, an Area 51 keep-off sign. That is interesting, isn't it? So was that the cave or not? We'd never known, especially now that when the YouTuber returned, an Area 51 keep sign had been placed in front of it. Looks like the Area 51 security was relaxed enough for the man to access the rock in the first place. Still, what is going on? Why is Area 51 making that cave a restricted area? Could it be that that was where Veach got lost? That could be possible, but Veach's girlfriend doesn't think so. She made some dark revelations about Veach. According to the girlfriend, Veach was nearing financial trouble. His business ideas were failing, and nothing seemed to work. Veach had been falling behind on payments on his house, and the bank was about to take his house from him. So Veach tried to sell his house, and also offered to sell himself along with the house so he could stay on as a caretaker. It was a strange sales pitch, but it was an indication of a man deeply disturbed. A man who needed help, but convinced himself that he didn't have any. A man so depressed that his smiles were fake. Veach hid his illness from the world, but told his girlfriend, and soon he began to scare her. He revealed to her that his father took his own life. So did Veach do the same? His girlfriend thinks so. She mentioned that he only took his gun and not his camera. Unfortunately, there may be some truth to this. After his disappearance, authorities checked his laptop and they found a document where he wrote "Help me" several times. So, did Veach end his own life? Or is there more to this mystery? I guess we'll never know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. See you in the next video.